Clean Room by Gail Simone is a series I knew nothing about, literally nothing. I only knew that Gail Simone wrote this series. Honestly, that was enough for me. This series is messed up. That's the first thing I gotta say off the bat. Literally the first thing that happened in this book is that a man runs over a child deliberately twice. The young girl grows up to be Astrid Mueller. She is the head of a sort of cult, I guess, in which you pay and then she basically breaks you down emotionally, finds out what your problem is, and you pay money for this. However, a young woman tries to kill herself after the death of her husband. He killed himself, and after getting a tape from this cult-like place, she investigates, finds a sinister secret about this woman, Astrid Mueller, and a grand conspiracy. Now, the tone of this book, this series, is The Matrix meets John Carpenter's The Thing and They Live. However, turn up the messed up the up to like 11. This series is grotesque. The artwork, the story, the characters are very flippant and fun. They're always clashing. This main character is always clashing with Astrid, and this series just, it had me hooked, just straight up. So volume 1 is basically your simple, you know, setting up the concept, setting up the characters, having a few things happen. Volume 2 sort of brings things up a little bit by having a little bit more world building with the villains, for one thing, and more progression with the main character, of course. And then volume 3, Waiting for the Stars to Fall, has a sort of definite climax ending. However, Gail Simone said that volumes 1 to 3 is like season 1, so there's probably going to be more to come. And I really like the just the general premise isn't like original, but like the story content is really interesting, and there's this weird sort of flippancy to some of the characters, a lot of shades of gray, like the Astrid Mueller and this cult. They're not necessarily the good guys, but they're like anti-heroes, and there's a lot of weird little things that go on. I don't want to get into the plot too much because, you know, for spoilers and everything. So for me, I recommend Clean Room. It's a really interesting read. It's only 3 volumes, and hopefully Gail Simone continues and writes season 2 of sorts, because it's a really interesting series, and I think it's for anyone who likes horror or science fiction or just messed up stories. So that's what I feel about Clean Room by Gail Simone.